Africa Global Radio. Our story, our growth, our future.
Headlines across Africa.
You are welcome to Headlines Across Africa. I am Mary Agyepomah-Kissi. In the headlines today, South Africa workers march in support of Palestinians. Tourists and staff evacuated from Kenya's flood Maasai Mara National Reserve. And in tackling plastic pollution, United Nations complete a round of negotiations on a treaty to end the global problem. Large number of African National Congress ANC supporters took part in a solidarity march in Cape Town, South Africa, in support of Palestine as part of May Day observance. They later gathered at the Athlone Stadium for a May Day rally hosted by the Congress of South African Trade Unions, which is the largest trade union federation in the country. President Cyril Ramaphosa doubled down on his country's long-standing support for the Palestinians, adding that the workers need to join the fight for those who are oppressed around the world. He says South Africa has stood up for the rights of those in other parts of the world who are currently being subjected to torture, to violence and genocide, and that they want Palestine to be free. President of the Congress of South African Trade Unions, Zingi Swalosi, says they stand in support of their government, of their movement, in support of the Palestinian cause, and that their freedom is not complete until the people of Palestine are free and liberated. Many university students in different parts of the world have also set up encampments on campus with banners with slogans calling for ceasefire and no investment in apartheid and advocating freedom for Palestine. Scores of tourists have been evacuated by helicopter in Kenya's Maasai Mara National Reserve after more than a dozen hotels, lodges and camps were flooded. As heavy rains continue to batter the country, more than 14 camps were submerged early on Wednesday after the Talek River within the park broke its banks. Kenya's Red Cross says it has successfully evacuated over 90 people. The Mara Elephant Project and the Narrow County government say they dispatched helicopters to help with evacuations. The Maasai Mara in the southwest of the country is a popular tourist destination because it features the annual wild beast migration from Tanzania. More than 180 people have died across Kenya since mid-March, with above-average rainfall causing widespread flooding, landslides, and destruction of infrastructure. President William Ruto has ordered the military to join in the search and rescue efforts, urging anyone living in fragile areas prone to landslides and flooding to move to higher ground. United Nations has completed a round of negotiations on a treaty to end plastic pollution in Ottawa, the capital of Canada, and has made more progress than in the previous 3 meetings. This was the 4th session of the Intergovernmental Negotiation Committee on Plastic Pollution. For the first time, countries have begun negotiating the text of what is intended to become a global treaty. They agreed to continue their work until the committee's next and final meeting, which will be held in the fall in South Korea. Plastic production continues to increase globally and is expected to double or triple by 2050 if nothing changes. Plastic producers and chemical companies want a treaty that focuses on plastic recycling and reuse. Executive Director of the Society of Native Nations, Frankie Orona, explained to the negotiators that their decisions affected people's lives and health. Indigenous people's land, water and air are contaminated by fossil fuel extraction and plastic manufacturing using dangerous chemicals. Canada's Parliamentary Secretary, Julie Debruson, says she is more hopeful than ever that an ambitious treaty to end plastic pollution will be adopted on schedule. And that is how we end today's Headlines Across Africa. We'll come your way tomorrow with more news right here on Africa Global Radio. I am Mary Agyepomah-Kissi.
For this and more, check us out on africaglobalradio.com. On Facebook and YouTube, Africa Global Radio. On Twitter and Instagram, AF Global Radio.